Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are zeroing in on one single critical date, August 6th, 2025. It's a day that just might have redrawn the entire map for artificial intelligence. So let's get into what happened. Just think about that for a second. What would it even look like if the fundamental rules of the AI game, who holds the power, who gets access, where it's all going, what if all of that got completely rewritten in just one day? Well, it's not a hypothetical. On August 6th, a series of pretty seismic events did exactly that. And today, we're going to break down how that single day started rewriting the future of tech as we know it. So where did it all start? It kicked off with an absolute bombshell from OpenAI, the company that basically defined the era of closed proprietary AI. They made a move that signaled a huge shift away from that tight control towards something way more open. All right, first, a really quick but super important definition. When we say an open weight model, we're talking about its core, its brain, if you will. The weights are all the learned parameters. So releasing them means anyone, from a student in a dorm room to a tiny startup, can grab that AI brain and build something totally new with it. And that is exactly what OpenAI did. They dropped two powerful new models on the world, GPT-OSS 120B and a smaller 20B version. Now, for a company that has kept its best tech under lock and key for 6 years, this was a massive shock, just a total reversal. But here's the thing. It wasn't just that they opened their models. It was how they did it. They used the Apache 2.0 license. Now, unlike Meta's Llama license, which has some pretty big restrictions for huge companies, Apache 2.0 is just total freedom. You can use it, change it, sell what you build with it, no strings attached. This just set a brand new, way more aggressive standard for what open actually means. And get this wasn't some watered down kind of toy version they put out there. No way. The big new open weight model, the 120B, actually matches the performance of OpenAI's own powerful paid model, O4 Mini. So they basically gave away a product that's just as good as one that people pay for, which of course leads to the big question, what's the catch? Well, the catch is reliability. While it's incredibly powerful, the model has a pretty serious problem with making things up, what we call hallucinating. A nearly 50% hallucination rate on one of their tests, that's a big deal. So with the flaw that major, why on earth would they still release it? And this quote from CEO Sam Altman, it really pulls back the curtain. See, this wasn't just a technical release. It was a geopolitical one. It's a strategy. By flooding the world with these powerful, American-made open models, OpenAI is trying to make sure that the foundation of global AI is built on Western ideals. It's a direct counter to competitors, especially from places like China. So while OpenAI was making this big push for openness, a totally different and really intense fight was heating up. This was a fight for control over the two things AI can't live without, the chips that power it and the data that feeds it. Right, on the hardware side, you could just feel the tension. The US government was looking at rules that could force chip makers like Nvidia to build kill switches right into their GPUs. Nvidia pushed back, hard and in public. They basically argued that these backdoors would create massive new security risks, not solve them. It's a clear battle over who gets to hold the physical on-off switch for AI. And at the exact same time, an equally fierce battle was going on over AI's other essential resource, the huge amounts of data that we all feed into these systems every single day. The flashpoint for this was the big lawsuit between OpenAI and the New York Times. In court, an expert in natural language processing said that analyzing about 20 million ChatGPT conversations would be more than enough to figure out the Times' copyright claims. But the New York Times said no. They came back and demanded access to 120 million user conversations. That is 6 times what the expert recommended, a truly staggering number. And the human cost here is just, wow. It's captured perfectly by Sam Altman himself. He admitted people share their most personal shit with ChatGPT, and because those chats don't have the same legal protection as talking to a doctor or a lawyer, this lawsuit threatens to expose the private thoughts of millions. It's a huge, unavoidable question about our privacy in this new age. So, Even with all these battles raging over control and data, the pace of innovation didn't slow down one bit. In fact, August 6 also gave us this incredible glimpse of just how fast the future is really coming at us. On that same day, Google DeepMind showed off something called Genie 3. Now get your head around this. You type a simple sentence, and it generates a unique, interactive 720p world that you can explore in real time. This isn't a video. The world is being built frame by frame as you move around, and it even remembers what you do. This is a massive step towards being able to train AIs in really complex, simulated realities. And that was just one announcement. On that same day, you could feel AI's impact everywhere. Illinois passed the first law on AI in therapy. A UK politician launched an AI bot for voters. You had companies clashing over web scraping, 11 labs launching an AI music generator, and Google using AI to track cyclones better. I mean, it is touching every single part of our lives, all at once. So when you see this explosion of activity from these new open models to AI that can generate entire worlds, it's impossible not to feel the sheer scale of what's possible. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? How do I become a part of this? Does this make you feel inspired to build something in this new era? If you're thinking yes, but have no idea where to even start, that's a really common feeling. And that's exactly why resources like the AI Unraveled Builders Toolkit exist. It was put together by an engineer named Etienne Noman, and it's designed to do just that, to bridge the gap with practical tutorials, code templates, and certification guides that can help turn that spark of an idea into a real project. It is so clear that the people and the companies at the very front of this revolution, they aren't just building products. They are actively shaping the entire public conversation and writing the future rules of the game. Being a voice in that conversation, it's critical. And for brands that want to lead that conversation, you have to connect with the right audience. Our community of over 1 million professionals is overwhelmingly made up of the senior decision makers, the founders, and the engineers who are actually building this future. A thought leadership partnership with AI Unraveled is a way to engage directly with those very people. So when we step back and look at everything that happened on August 6th, this one single powerful tension just snaps right into focus. And really, this is the central conflict of our new AI reality. On one side, you've got this huge push toward radical openness, basically democratizing AI power, and it's being led by OpenAI's big strategic release. And then on the other side, you have this intense fight for control over the core resources, the hardware, and all of our private data. These two forces are pulling the future in very different directions. And this leaves us with the ultimate question. As this technology becomes the actual foundation for our society, for our economy, our politics, our personal lives, who gets to write the rules? That's what was really at stake on August 6th. And that's a question we're all going to be answering for a long, long time. Thanks for joining us.